So, whether called grove festivals, green rituals, seasonal rites, sabbats, a wheel of the year, certain special times of year acknowledged as a means of transcending the common state of things, the realization of events taking place on a higher level. Through deliberate study and use of these times of years, the Druid can take advantage of how these energies affect us. So Beltane actually is the fire festival that marks the beginning of summer, and this is observed on May's Eve, and has even been called Walpurgis-Nacht, or Walpurgis-Nacht in German. In many classical references, this has been modernized to May Day, of which the maypole is commonly conjured to mind a pagan custom. Lore tells us that the dew from the morning of May 1st is also good for anointing the eyes of fairy seekers. Beltane literally meaning fires of bel, represented by twin flames or else two fires built close to one another, is considered a tradition to jump over and between them. Cattle was even walked between the sacred fires as a blessing before being brought out to pasture, and the symbol of two flames becoming one is sacred to the Beltane festival as far as kindled love and the fertility aspects of it. Sexuality and mating, of course, encouraged to promote the fertility of the land and abundance of new growth in nature. Sometimes represented ceremonially between the May Queen and Oak King. It's interesting. Beltane, actually, a lot of people know of Samhain or Halloween as being a time of when the thresholds are thinnest. Beltane is also a point when the thresholds are thin, and that gateway between worlds is also present. The maypole is significant of the world tree, which is actually kind of linked between the two worlds, as far as what's seen and what's unseen. Another fire festival, Lunasa, is in the Celtic calendar. We would modernize it to be like the first day of August, which begins autumn for them, as well as the harvest, called the Celtic Grain Festival, and also Lammas. And it's pronounced Lunasa, even though there's like this D in there. It literally means the marriage of Lu. It was observed through a marriage to the land, and sometimes a sacrifice to the corn king, or else the death of the land through the harvest into the dark months. There's also this tradition of sexual licensing among peasants, which were granted a temporary marriage that lasted for a year and a day. The ceremonial purpose of these trial marriages, where the festival gets its name, it's not entirely clear, but it was like a universal marriage festival. And then finally Samhain, though it's spelled Samhain, the ancient Druid festival modernized to Halloween, and nearly all of the modern symbolism with this festival today has pagan origins, even before the Christianization of All Souls Eve and All Saints Day and following it and all that. It's indeed a festival or feast of the dead, a time of ancestral remembrance, and according to the Celtic calendar, it also marked the official beginning of winter. Pronounced Samhain and spelt Samhain in the Celtic languages, it literally means summer's end. So, in Irish. The customs of dressing in your finest costumery and the carving of what we carve as pumpkins, what would have been gourds and pumpkin-like, then skull-like faces with internal illumination is a European practice, and Also bobbing for apples, building of bonfires or bonfires, circles of skulls, so forth. And the Christians did observe many of these pagan customs around the same calendrical dates because it was their means of converting people in Western Europe to the new tradition. At sacred times and at sacred places, they would place the new tradition so that people would be observing it as part of the new tradition, and it was slowly ingrained into it. So that in a nutshell are the Grove festivals and fire festivals.
Hello? I'll call you back. I got the Agent Sem.